change don't affect all people equally. It also means transitioning from a fossil fuel-based economy to a more sustainable future. MN350 is one of the groups that's pushing for this transition to protect our futures. You can even get involved too.
That's great, especially since I'm concerned about pipeline projects like Line 3. How can I help MN350?
Just find them on Facebook or visit mn350.org.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy. But with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States, and 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected. Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf. Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy. As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired. Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl.
We have vital information we would like to share with you. The Department of Indian Work St. Paul partnered with the Minnesota Department of Health to open the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline. They provide information on testing sites, isolation space, vaccines, housing assistance, and food resources. If you or someone you know has questions about COVID-19 or has questions to determine if you should get tested, please call them at 651-304-9986. Again, the number is 651-304-9986. The Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline is open for calls Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Call the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline at 651-304-9986. That's 651-304-9986.
AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Cloudy overnight with a low of 40, then rain likely Saturday and a high of 50.
Fire up Minnesota with a smoking hot deal on a new gas, charcoal, or pellet grill from Warner Stellian. You still get free assembly, free delivery, and 18 months no-interest financing. Get your new grill from the specialists, Minnesota's own Warner Stellian.
It's a good day to be indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut. He didn't cut again.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake. Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. My native name is Wakunjahade, and that means distant thunder. We talk about national and Twin City Native news and events, and as we all know, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
This portion of the show is brought to you by the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline. You can call them at 651-304-9986. They're open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 2.
That's new, right?
That is new. The weekend hours are Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 2. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And they just expanded that because they've been getting so many calls. So not only do they answer COVID-19 questions, they have lots of resources. Right. So give them a call.
Right. We had a really awesome interview with Lasha, who represents was it yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
See, I don't know. I've got a COVID grog going on here.
We got our second COVID vaccine yesterday. And
Bobby's a little off.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit off too. I was looking for my phone. I didn't know where I put it. I was looking all over for my phone. It was in my back pocket. It was literally in my back pocket.
Well, welcome to my world.
I mean, really.
Yeah, so a lot going on out there. A lot of exciting news coming up for Native Roots Radio in the next couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
we're really excited, and we can't say anything about it now, but I'm just
You're
going to give you,
such a tease.
yeah, so somebody will listen to the show again. Um, yeah, so so we're excited, and we've been on this journey for not even in June. It'll be 3.5 years, and it's been exciting. Wendy, we started as an
Mm-hmm.
hour show on Saturdays,
Mm-hmm.
and we were shocked that anyone listened to us. And then we went to 2 hours, and then we did Pilot's Progressive Party for a long time, and
Yeah.
Rock the Boat Native Style.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, you're a veteran, and I'm groggy right now.
I know. Yeah, we're on ibuprofen and Tylenol. So
Exactly. And I think I just snorted over the air on my laugh. So why don't we, before I start embarrassing myself more, why don't we get to Ogama with the news? Welcome, Ogama.
Hi, Yanin Buju. Happy Friday, everybody. I want to start with Tara Hauska. Tara Hauska of GNU Collective is free from Hubbard County Jail this afternoon. Yesterday, they held space in a prayer lodge at an active Line 3 construction site, and many of the people who took part in that were arrested, including Tara. She just updated her social media a few minutes ago, saying that all of them were just released from Hubbard County Jail after being kenneled, strip searched, shackled, and held overnight on misdemeanor charges for the Stop Line 3 movements. If you are looking to get involved to help Stop Line 3 in maybe a less intense way, you can tune in and stop in tomorrow from 10 to 12 in Duluth for the March to Stop Line 3 that is hosted by Loaves and Fishes Community, Honor the Earth, and Sophia Langer. Again, that's going to take place at Lake Place in Duluth tomorrow, 10 to 12. And then coming up next Tuesday, March 30th from 2 to 6 is going to be the We're Still Here, which is an event hosted by Rise Coalition and Indigenous Environmental Network. They're calling on drums and dancers, and they plan to march during that event from the Lake Bemidji waterfront, so please pack light. Also by Indigenous Environmental Network is going to be an online event this coming Sunday at 6 p.m. That's going to be what is Sunday? Sunday is the 28th, and it's called Feminism and Indigenous Women Carbon Market Talks. The episode will be talking about carbon markets and the impacts that they hold onto Indigenous communities. I want to kind of tuck over here to Wisconsin. Wisconsin in the Madison area, residents near Madison are questioning Enbridge now. So now we've got Minnesota, Michigan, and now Enbridge. Enbridge Line 3 had Line 13, excuse me, had a petroleum spill last year, and Jefferson County residents near Madison are questioning why it took Enbridge 21 days to repair a leaking underground pipe, and it spilled more than 1,200 gallons of petroleum near Fort Atkinson, which then contaminated soil and groundwater. Enbridge did not report the spill to authorities for more than 15 months.
Whoa.
Yes.
yeah,
Shady
very
McDady.
shady, really shady.
I don't feel good. Yeah, they really are.
Yep. And then just actually last November, so this spill was detected April 26th of 2019, and it was confirmed May 4th. It was not stopped until May 17th of 2019, and they didn't begin soil excavation until July. By October, they knew the contamination exceeded the state standards. By March 26th of 2020, Enbridge had finally agreed to do well testing in the area, and July they tested soil and water, and then July 31st, 2020, the spill was reported to the DNR. And not until August 25th of 2020 did they report the spill to federal authorities.
Mm-hmm.
And by November of 2020, the spill size had been revised from about 1,225 gallons to 1,386 gallons estimated spill.
Mm.
So now we have residents in a major metropolitan area in Wisconsin now who are questioning Enbridge's policies. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. It looks like most of the Midwest is getting wise.
Yeah, well, if Enbridge is using their own people to test the soil and to test the wells, I wouldn't believe any of it. Then we need to bring in an outside organization to do it who's, not partial.
Exactly. So you guys remember last week or earlier this week when I was talking about those forever chemicals, the per and polyfluoroalkyl substances? You guys remember those?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, over in Maryland, a pesticide that they use widely for mosquito control in that state was tested and contains these chemicals. So the testing was ordered by Public Employees for Environmental Responsibility and the Maryland Pesticide Education Network, and they found substance. They found these forever substances in what's called Permanone 3030, which is an insecticide that's used by the Maryland Department of Agriculture to control mosquitoes. So the results from that just came in a few weeks before they had planned to start spraying 2,100 communities in 16 counties. So it's insane that these chemicals are showing up in places, and they were just going to spray that all over to control the mosquitoes in Maryland.
Jeez.
It's crazy. It really is.
Blows my mind.
Well, it's
Blows
great.
my mind.
I got to say a couple things, and it's great that Ogama that you really reach deep for these news pieces because I can guarantee you, no one across Turtle Island is breaking it down like you are.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that. So it's Friday, so I want to try to squeeze in some good news here. New York City Council voted that they are going to end qualified immunity for police officers. So that is the protection that says that officers cannot be sued or liable for misconduct, and that has now been removed in the city of New York.
Good.
What made me chuckle about the article that I read about it was that the critics had said that that meant that police were using less aggressive tactics to control crime for fear of getting sued. And I had to laugh when I read that because I'm like, that is the whole point. We don't need police to be overly aggressive to control crime. So I'm pretty excited and happy for that news, especially with this upcoming, the trial's still ongoing for Derek Chauvin for his murder of George Floyd here in Minneapolis. And it gives me hope that if New York can do it, maybe Minnesota will too.
Wow. Again, Peeny Gigi, Ogama for the news. Again, I don't think anywhere in Turtle Island is doing extensive news like you are. And it's always a pleasure to hear that. And do you have a fan page that people can sign up for? Hey.
Not yet. No, not yet.
Okay, well, awesome. So, Wendy, today's Friday, so it's Positive Friday, and one of the most positive people we know is going to be up next.
That's right.
State Senator Mary Kunesh. All right, awesome. You're listening to Native Roots Radio Presents I'm Awake, and we'll be right back. Stay with us.
Hey, Ogama, I've been hearing a lot about this term, climate justice. What is that?
Climate justice is recognizing that the negative impacts of climate change don't affect all people equally. It also means transitioning from a fossil fuel-based economy to a more sustainable future. MN350 is one of the groups that's pushing for this transition to protect our futures. You can even get involved too.
That's great, especially since I'm concerned about pipeline projects like Line 3. How can I help MN350?
Just find them on Facebook or visit mn350.org.
Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States, and 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected. Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf. Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy. As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired. Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl.
We'll be right back. Stay with us.
We have vital information we would like to share with you. The Department of Indian Work St. Paul partnered with the Minnesota Department of Health to open the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline. They provide information on testing sites, isolation space, vaccines, housing assistance, and food resources. If you or someone you know has questions about COVID-19 or has questions to determine if you should get tested, please call them at 651-304-9986. Again, the number is 651-304-9986. The Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline is open for calls Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Call the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline at 651-304-9986. That's 651-304-9986.
Hi, this is Representative Sharice Davids from Kansas. I'm Ho Chunk, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
We are the Calusa Nation.
Hey, welcome back, indeed, to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade.
This portion of the show is brought to you by the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline. Call them at 651-304-9986, Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., and they're open on the weekends now, Saturday and Sundays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Oh, wow. Good one. Hey, so it's funny, you know, we've had this next guest on for quite a while, and I remember she was on vacation somewhere, and she still sent in her piece, and I don't think Mary's missed a show since she signed that $1 million contract with us. But we're always excited to have Mary on here, and I'm gonna hand it over to you, Mary, because you and Wendy, because I'm a little COVID right now. So welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, Mary Kunesh,
Yeah.
State Senator.
State Senator Mary Kunesh. Yeah, Robert had we both had our second COVID vaccine yesterday, and I'm actually feeling better than Robert, but he's feeling a little under the weather. So he has a stronger immune system than I do, obviously.
Yeah.
Wow,
How are you, Mary?
I'm good. Which one of the shots did you have? The vaccines did you have?
We got Moderna.
Okay. I had my first shot this week, and I go back in 28 days for my second one. So I'm hoping I'm not going to have too bad of a reaction. You know, I never have had a flu shot, and I'm pretty sensitive to medication, and so I just wonder what it's going to be like when I have to, you know, actually go back for that second one. I guess that second one is the one that's really the hard on you one.
Yeah, because we get the first one, and that's the primer. And then when you get the second one, your body's saying, well, hey, I recognize this thing again. What is it? And it attacks it. So you have an immune response. So people who have had COVID already, they've already been primed. So some people who have had COVID, when they get their first vaccine, get a response even after their first vaccine. But I see that you're in a car with your puppy today.
Oh, do you see her? That's my Missy.
Yeah, we can hear
Missy.
Missy. She's so cute.
Yeah, she's whining because she wants to be up in front with us. And there's my daughter, Eliane.
Oh, that's your favorite daughter. Hey.
Awesome.
Yeah,
all right.
that's one of my favorite daughters. Yeah, so, and then actually my son went up to Leech Lake today and got his shot. His first shot, and he'll go back in about 3 weeks and get another one. So, you know, we've had that. We heard from the governor today that they're now allowing anyone up to 16 starting next week to be able to get the vaccination. So let's hope that, you know, with being ahead of the game, Minnesota will get vaccinated and we'll be able to reopen things slowly and carefully, of course. But let's hope that no more of these variations come into the state. I guess they're not so good up north where there's a new variation that's kind of attacking folks there. So always something, right?
We can thank the pipe fitters and whatnot up there for that when we had 4,000 people up there from all over. So
it was bound to happen.
Yep, it definitely was. I'm a little foggy, but I'm okay. Like I've done my exercising for the day and walked the dog, but I just forgot. Like I had to do some editing for a different broadcast that we do, and I forgot all about that. So I'm at like a half a tick off.
Yeah, I am too. I was looking for my phone. I was telling everybody earlier, looking for my phone for I don't know how long. I don't know, 15 minutes. It was in my back pocket, Mary. Seriously.
You're gonna blame that on COVID now, right?
I'm blaming it on the vaccine. I'm blaming it on the vaccine for sure.
There you go.
Well, say I saw a really nice article about you, and maybe we can talk. We can do this. We can do this a little bit each time because of our expanding network, and just talk a little bit about you and. You know, the bill you passed, I was in getting our shot. We were in Black River Falls, and I ran into the lieutenant governor and governor there. And there was also a senator there that I want to get on the show, and maybe you can be on, maybe he can be on the same show that you're on. But he's trying to put an MMIW bill through in Wisconsin.
Yep.
So it was, I got all that information, and maybe we can do like a good show because we are in Madison now too, in Chicago. So
Oh, good.
people recognize you everywhere now.
I'm all over the place, man.
But that was a great article written about you, and the backdrop of you doing your MMIW bill and who you are, and it was a really nice article. Do you want to tell our audience a little bit about it?
Sure. We have a really great publication here in Minnesota. It's called the Women's Press. And they often, it's always about women and the good things that women do and the barriers that we all have and things like that. And so they did this really nice, it's, Women's History Month. So they invited me to write an article, tell a little bit about myself. So I'm a state senator here in Minnesota. Last 4 years, I've been a state representative. And after my first year as a representative, I started working on putting together a task force to address the missing and murdered Indigenous women here in Minnesota. I'd heard the preliminary report coming out of Canada on theirs, and of course Savannah Greywind was murdered that summer, and I was like, we have to do something here in Minnesota. So I went back to the Capitol in the summer and got my research folks going, and we put together just a real preliminary bare bones bill, and then I invited the community to come in and help me really fill it out and talk about who they want on that committee and who shouldn't be on that committee, and the agencies, and it just turned into a beautiful bill, and it took us 2 years to get it passed, but we passed it with total bipartisan support in both bodies of the legislature. And it's really my wish. I would hope that any state can take my bill, our bill, and use it in a similar way and create their own state MMIW. We say MMIR now, Missing and Murdered Indigenous Relatives. And then once, if we all are collecting and doing the same thing, collecting the same data and working on the same issues, I mean, that's our national task force right there. And we don't have to wait for the federal government to decide to do it or not. And so, there was a really good article about Heather Keeler, the state representative, the new one. She and I are working on legislation to actually open up a permanent MMIR office here in the state of Minnesota. It would have a number of folks working in the office. It's not just a one person. The governor has money in his budget for the next 2 years to start us off. And so, and I know that we've talked with Wisconsin. We've had meetings, Zoom meetings. The task force has about how we did it and why we did what we did, and shared a lot of information with them. And so we've been in touch with other states, and really look forward to working with them to make sure that this does get addressed, and it's not just sort of a one and done sort of deal, a flash in the pan. Kind of program. We want to make sure that it's going to be for the long haul.
Right, and and I love talking about this because other states need to catch up on what we've been doing here, and it's exciting because I know once you get your office set up, we'll have a Native Roots Radio office room there too, so we can be on top of all the news all over Turtle Island, and talk Ogama to move down here, and her family to move down the Twin Cities and get
there. You go.
Yeah.
There you go.
But yeah, it is exciting, and I think what I'll do is I'll send them an email and I'll CC you it, and then we can start that conversation, because you're right.
Absolutely.
They can use your bill.
Yeah, when other states see good stuff happening, they want it also. They want to adopt certain ordinances and bills, so it's a win-win for everybody.
Well, it really is. I mean, when you think about it, yes, there are 11 tribes here in Minnesota, or reservations. Well, not reservations, but tribes here in Minnesota. But, we're all interrelated. My family's Standing Rock, right? You're Ho-Chunk. I mean, somehow or other, we're all related one way or the other. And so it's for our relatives, not just here in Minnesota, but across the country. I mean, a whole chunk. You said Sharice Davis is Ho Chunk down down
Kansas.
south, and so
Yep.
what we do for the good we do for one, we're doing for all. That's for sure.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. I just got to give a quick shout out to all my relatives out there listening in District 4 that I'm running again for. I was tied in the last election, so if you thought I was going to win by a landslide, please vote this time. I need your vote to be a legislator of Ho-Chunk Nation in Black River Fall, or in Wisconsin and Ho-Chunk Nation. So thanks for bringing that up.
What will your title be? Yeah, what will your title be, Robert?
Ho-Chunk legislator.
Oh, so we'll have to call you like representative or
Yep,
what?
exactly. Yep, representative. Mr. Sir, it's funny, my niece, she asked me what she should call me when Wendy and I got married, and she was like 10 years old, and I say, Mr. What did I say, Wendy?
Mr. Robert, Sir, something like that. I don't know.
And so she's like 30-some years old now, and she still calls me that.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Well, we're going to take a quick break. Mary, can you stay with us?
You bet.
Awesome, great. Hey, we're with State Senator Mary Kunesh, and this is Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot, and I'm here with Wendy and Ogama, and we are ready to rock and roll another segment with State Representative, or you know what, Senator Mary Kunesh. I do that every time. What the heck?
Stay with us. It's the COVID vaccine.
Yes, thank you.
Oh,
gosh, thank you. Where's your phone, Wendy? We'll be right back after this short break.
Okay.
Stay with us. Hey, Wendy, what are we doing for dinner after the show?
How about we go to J. Selby's on 169 Victoria Street in St. Paul. They have a delicious plant-based menu that's compassionate and environmentally sustainable.
I'm getting their spot-on vegan Big Mac, the dirty secret.
You can pick up and they deliver within a 5-mile radius, or you can call them at 651-222-3263 or visit jselbys.com.
Well, you sold me, Wen. Let's go order at J. Selby's tonight.
I'm hungry.
I love every Toyota I've ever driven, but I won't just go to any dealership. Rudy Luther Toyota is the absolute best place to buy your next Toyota. That's not just me saying that. Rudy Luther Toyota was just named the Dealer Rater 2021 Minnesota Toyota Dealer of the Year, and they received the Dealer Rater 2021 Consumer Satisfaction Award. It's not just great vehicles. It's the service which makes Rudy Luther Toyota the cherry on top of your car purchase Sunday. Rudy Luther Toyota, the southeast corner of 394 and 169 in Golden Valley.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in 4 directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy. But with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
Hi, my name is Frank Brown, owner of Minuteman Press Uptown. We're not just another print shop. We give back to the community and stand up for social justice. At Minuteman Press Uptown, we understand Black Lives Matter and know love is love. We're the only minority-owned and proud union print shop in the state. And while we take pride in our work with over 100-plus years of industry experience, we also know it's important to be involved in our community. We're active in the Twin Cities, fighting for racial, social, and economic justice. We believe our employees are vital to our success. That's why we pay a living wage with benefits.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950. Minuteman Press's graphic design team took our ideas and turned them into an eye-catching promotional piece that was professional, and they far exceeded my expectations. And we sure love that they share our progressive values. They can help with direct mail, signs, promotion, and any other printing needs. Work with the graphic design and print team that AM 950 trusts, Minuteman Press Uptown. Call 612-870-0777 or visit mpuptown.com.
If you're hurting in your relationship or have been affected by sexual violence, you're not alone. Strong Hearts Native Helpline can help you through these difficult and uncertain times. Strong Hearts Helpline is a free 24/7 confidential domestic dating and sexual violence helpline for Native Americans. Help is available by calling 1-844-762-8483 or by clicking on the Chat Now icon on strongheartshelpline.org. This message is sponsored by the National Indigenous Women's Resource Center.
Hi, Minnesota. This is David Packman, and you can catch my show weeknights for an in-depth look at politics and current events on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
If the statistics say that 1 in 3 Native women and 1 in 6 Native men have experienced sexual assault in their lifetime, it means our whole community is affected by sexual violence. 1 is too many. Don't stand by, stand up. Don't engage in acts of sexual violence, and shut down the dirty jokes, the gossip, the victim blaming and shaming. As a community, we can change the way we respond. Contact the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition to attend a workshop to learn more. Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Cloudy overnight with a low of 40, then rain likely Saturday and a high of 50. Crooner Supper Club off Moore Lake and Highway 65 in Fridley has some new ways you can safely enjoy the best jazz in the Twin Cities. Both their concert rooms feature new ventilation systems, raised ceilings, and protective plexiglass for front row seating. Plus, Crooners will present one free live stream concert per week. More at croonersmn.com.
Anine, I'm Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, and you are listening to Native Roots Radio.
We are Alusa Nation.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio Presents I'm Awake. I'm Robert Pilot.
And this portion of the show is brought to you by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Hey, we're always excited, every Friday, and it used to be every Saturday when we were on to Saturdays.
Yeah.
And Mary, State Senator Mary Kunesh has been on all our shows, which is even more exciting. It's always, we can always count on her, and it's really a great thing, Wendy.
Mary, so you're in a car. Where would you mind letting us know where you were or where you're coming back from?
Or going to?
Where you, yeah.
Going to.
Well, our state legislature is officially on a spring break. And so when you were talking about me calling in from another vacation, I think that was 2 years ago, my daughter and I were in Puerto Rico. Oh my gosh, if you ever want to go to a beautiful place. I was sitting on the beach. I all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, I have to go do my radio thing. And I'm sitting on the beach of Puerto Rico and sending you my report. And, we had done a lot of interesting things, and I learned a lot about the indigenous folks down there. But right now I'm on my way to Wisconsin. One of the legislators has a cabin house up here, and she offered to let me go up there for a few days, get out of town. So that's what we're doing, and packed up my dog and my fish, my daughter and her boyfriend, and we're driving north and spending a few days out of town. I don't think I've been it's been at least a year before since I've really done any kind of a road trip, so I'm really happy to get out of town.
Yeah, wow, good for you. And you guys, you lawmakers, because of all these special sessions, you haven't been out of session, it seems like. Right?
Oh, it feels, well, we really haven't. We really haven't, because we have to go back in every 30 days and give the governor those executive powers every 30 days so that he can continue to pull down funding and resources from the federal government. Because once that goes away, once he doesn't have those executive powers, then he doesn't have the funding that is helping with our housing subsidies and some of these other emergency issues. And so it's absolutely imperative that he continue to have these. And, should there be another spike or anything that happens with COVID, he has the authority to make, split-second decisions if necessary. So, we every month, we went in and at that time we could pass bills as well as give him those powers. So, it's been, for a part-time job, it's more like a job and a half for sure.
No doubt. And we really appreciate you.
Thank
you. Doing all that work. I know there was somebody from up in the occupied north or the deep north wants to secede from Minnesota. Did you hear about that? And they want to become a part of South Dakota?
You know what? There are little bits and pieces that it comes up every so often. Yes. Yes,
Well, I mean,
Canada or other states. Yes.
well, don't they realize that the Twin Cities are the big tax base and that they help with services up there, and we are kind of the cash cow down here, helping all across the state?
I'm sure they realize it, but they don't want to admit it because, there has been this really strong crowbar that's trying to pry the North and the South apart, or, the greater Minnesota and metro Minnesota apart, saying that, all our resources go to the Twin Cities. Well, we're the one that generates that much for our
Hmm.
state. And it's not that we don't want to share it with the rest of Minnesota. I mean, we absolutely do, but it's kind of a slap in the face when our communities here in the metro area are asking for some financial assistance to rebuild their communities and build a stronger Twin Cities again, build back some of the areas that were really affected by the civil unrest. And then greater Minnesota legislators are saying, why should we help them? They kind of cook their own goose, and that's money that should be going to us. And we have to point out, and I have to tell you, Senator Patricia Torres Ray is just an incredible senator who really always says it just like it is. And when we have GOP legislators that are complaining about where the funding is going, like they're not getting their fair share, she is quick to remind them that her district generates the most tax dollars that go out into greater Minnesota. And she suggested, let's just keep it here in the metro area, you guys, and then you'll feel the crunch of what it's really like not to have that share of what we're trying to help with everything. So it's
Isn't it?
hard.
It's sad that you have to go that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's that you have to say that stuff.
Yeah, and it's sort of getting worse and worse every session. It's just a little bit more toxic, should I say, and divisions are pretty strong around issues, and a lot of untruths and exaggerations and twisting legislation around to say, oh, what you really are doing are supporting these. You're not supporting education. If you vote for this bill, you're not supporting, the veterans or whatever, when indeed we absolutely are, or that has nothing to do with that subject. So I just wish we could get back to a real bipartisan kind of legislature that's really looking out
Yeah.
for the good for all Minnesotans.
Yeah, and in the last 2 days now, we're hearing about Georgia and how what's going on,
Suppressing the vote with
voting
the
suppression. And they just signed a bill not to give people water while they're waiting online.
It just breaks my heart. I was reading that today, and it just almost made me sick to my stomach to think that people really think this is good legislation. And then then they'll turn around and say local control, or let us make our own decisions, let us do how we want to do it. We don't want to be micromanaged. But when they're putting those kind of hurtful, non-democratic legislation in place, it's just it makes you think about the Civil War, and are we going to have a civil war down the road?
Right. And it's all misinformation too. And this has been going on for so long. I mean, not to get too deep, but how can Fox News be really called a regular news station? They are propaganda that's really been working, the last 20 years, slowly,
Yeah.
slowly into the people's thoughts.
Yeah. It just erodes everybody's quality of life, and the fact that, I don't know, they prey on people that are susceptible or impressionable, and all of a sudden they're believing these inaccuracies. I had a little bit of work done on my house over the last month and a half, and a couple of the workmen came in, and when they found out I was a legislator, they, made some comments, and then, made some things about the governor and the president and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you guys, that's not true. And they're like, what do you mean it's not true? I'm like, here's really what the deal is. And they're like, really? We never heard that before. So
they're listening to
Fox News.
somebody I know in Texas listens to like OAN radio or it's some right wing Christian Republican station. So
Well, that's why, Mary, we're really blessed to be on AM 950 and other progressive stations across the country, because since 1980, when Reagan became president and started deregulating all these businesses, at one time you could only own 3 radio stations. That was the maximum amount. And now we have 8 companies owning 90% of the radio, and most of it is conservative radio. And it's been, so we're really excited to be on AM 950 for these reasons.
I'm glad you are.
Well, and you are too. You know,
Wow,
you're on too,
we're
speaking
pretty
your
lucky.
truth. Yeah, exactly. So I know you got to get going, and do you have any last things to say to our listening and watching audience there on Facebook and on the airwaves?
I just want to, wish you all a good spring and we're coming up on a couple of holidays here. Enjoy the change of seasons wherever you are, and watch out for look for ways to get yourself vaccinated. Here in Minnesota, they're going to be opening it up, and we just want to make sure that we're getting back to what we kind of consider normal. And hopefully this summer we'll be able to gather for family outings and holidays and all of those sort of things that we weren't able to enjoy last year, and put our state back in good order.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you being on each week, each Friday, and really, it is it's the tip of, or it's the cherry on top of a great week of guests.
It really is.
It really is.
Really, drive safe. Go ahead,
Wendy. I was just going to tell you, I did have my meeting with our Humane Society folks this week, and they had the cutest little dog with them, and showed me this incredible playroom that they've created for the dogs. I just was like, I think I want to go work there and play with those dogs for all day.
That's awesome.
Thanks. I appreciate
Mary,
you doing that, Mary.
That's awesome, Mary. And Mary, I see that vest you're wearing, and I don't know if you got one extra large that you can hook me up with, but I see that.
That is my sister. I'll see what my sister has. She's got this 3 feathers horsemanship. She used to have it. She did horse training and horse rides and like horse therapy. And so I'll see if she's got one. You're going to need one of those.
Right on. Well, Peeny Gigi Mary, State Senator Mary Kunesh, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. Thank you so much again, Mary.
All right, you guys, have a good weekend.
Yeah, you too. Enjoy.
Bye-bye.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Wow. I just got to say, Wendy, we are so blessed to have State Senator Mary Kunesh on each week.
Yep.
And, again, a show that we when we started the show, it was please come on our show, as opposed to like people want to come on our show now and work with us.
Yeah.
And Mary kind of opened up the floodgates of politicians, the local politicians, to come on.
That's right. We love it.
So,
and, with our live feed here on Facebook, we had somebody just say listening from Sweden.
Yeah.
So people listen to us from all over the world and all over the country. So it's really exciting.
All right. Yeah, we got a celebration in the native animal section. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Hey, Ogama, I've been hearing a lot about this term, climate justice. What is that?
Climate justice is recognizing that the negative impacts of climate change don't affect all people equally. It also means transitioning from a fossil fuel-based economy to a more sustainable future. MN350 is one of the groups that's pushing for this transition to protect our futures. You can even get involved too.
That's great, especially since I'm concerned about pipeline projects like Line 3. How can I help MN350?
Just find them on Facebook or visit mn350.org.
Hello, Richard from Auto Technical. Imagine life without a car. Just getting to daycare, then to work on the bus. Do you have a car or truck to donate? We have families waiting for a reconditioned vehicle from Auto Technical. Your gift will change their lives. Remember, we recondition the vehicle so you'll receive a much higher tax deduction. 612-919-5526. Autotechnical.org.
We have vital information we would like to share with you. The Department of Indian Work St. Paul partnered with the Minnesota Department of Health to open the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline. They provide information on testing sites, isolation space, vaccines, housing assistance, and food resources. If you or someone you know has questions about COVID-19 or has questions to determine if you should get tested, please call them at 651-304-9986. Again, the number is 651-304-9986. The Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline is open for calls Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Call the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline at 651-304-9986. That's 651-304-9986.
This is Winona LaDuke of Honor the Earth, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio. I'm awake.
We are Hallucin Nation.
Hey, welcome back to Native Roots Radio Presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Howling for Wolves, protecting wolves for future generations. Oh! Yeah.
Okay, we got Ogama in there. That's awesome. So yeah, today's you posted something on Facebook. And
today is Fluff Peace Friday.
Well, that isn't what I was going to talk about.
Okay.
But I was going to talk about our little babies here, our little fur babies that live here, and it's an anniversary.
Yeah, today's an anniversary of the day we met them. So it was kind of their gotcha day, and that was 4 years ago. And thank goodness for Facebook that it has these memories that come up, right? It reminds me of people's birthdays, of anniversaries, of all these things.
Facebook's the devil, but they got a couple things keeping you come back.
I said to you just recently, I think we've had the dogs, is it 3 years now? Is it 4 years here? I can't even remember. But yeah, it's 4 years now that we got our dogs. And what happened was a lot of people who listen to our show regularly kind of know our story. You know, around 20 years ago, Robert and I walked into a pet store to buy cat food, and we walked out with 2 baby chihuahuas. Later on, figured out that we were endorsing and helping the puppy mill business, because the dogs from the pet store originated from the puppy mills. And that was Mickey and Pancho, 2 little fawn-colored chihuahuas who we had for 16 years and loved dearly. I mean, they were our boys.
I just want to be straight, too, that we didn't name Pancho. That was my mom and dad, because we gave him to my mom and dad.
Yeah.
We would have probably named him Earl or something. Not a racist
but
name.
Yeah, but he was a Pancho. You know, you got to know him. But anyway, we had them for 16 years. They passed away 2 weeks apart from each other.
That was devastating.
We were so devastated. And honestly, I cried every single day for 3 months after they passed. Like every single day I cried. And you know, Robert finally, he said to me, "Oh my gosh, you know, Wendy, come on, you have to stop crying. This is ridiculous. What can we do to help you to stop crying?" And I said, you know, I think I need more dogs. I think I need dogs in my life.
That sounds like the same story about the pontoon.
Oh, stop. Yeah, it is, but that's another story.
Right. No, I know.
Yeah. But
and you reached out?
I reached out to a friend of mine, a person I know, and his name is Barry. If he's listening, thank you, Barry. But
Barry gives to our Patreon.
Yeah, Barry's awesome. He fosters small dogs for a rescue organization, and I knew that we wanted small dogs again, and older, or we didn't care whether they were old or young, or male or female, or we wanted 2 dogs, whether whether they were litter mates or they were a bonded couple, or you know, just 2 dogs. We wanted 2 dogs. So I reached out to him and emailed him, and he kind of came back to me and kind of said, you know, Wendy, we have 2 dogs, and they're a bonded pair, and we would love for you and Robert to meet them
Check it
and
out,
check
yep.
it out and whatever. And I saw pictures of them, and I didn't even really care what they look like. I just wanted them.
Can I jump in?
Yes.
I think we talked a little bit about getting older ones because Wendy, we were involved with. It felt like the Underground Railroad thing. Where we were involved with transports,
Transporting dogs,
and we'd
yes.
have older dogs we were bringing from Indiana up here, and their souls. You could feel their soul and look into their eyes and see their souls, especially the old ones, and they could tell that they were happy to be
rescued. Yeah, they felt like they were in a good place.
So
and you
in
could
that
tell.
mind set, that's why I kind of said let's get older ones,
dogs,
and we have some stories about some dogs we didn't want to give back to the
when we were at in the transport. I know.
Right.
So anyway, later on we found out that there was a third dog involved with the two that we were interested in getting. There was a third one, and Barry said I wouldn't expect you to adopt 3 dogs, but there is a third dog, and I think we can get her adopted into another family.
I wanted them.
Her,
I said
yeah.
I want her.
Yeah, so it was
Keep them all together.
Keep them all together. They all lived together for a while, except for Gracie. She was recently adopted, and she was a female breeder dog in a puppy
7
mill
years.
for 7 years. Yeah,
2 litters a year. That's all she was good for. That's all they used her for. Yeah, you had that powerful city council presentation. That she couldn't. She'd never touched grass or leaves before, and
7 years.
She had a number, and we treat our beans like property, and those are things that are skewed that that go against nature. And I think that's a great thing that we always do a sacred animal portion of our show and talk about what mostly the atrocities is what's happening to our relatives with tails and wings and gills and what else am I missing here? Fur,
fins and feet, paws and hooves. Yeah, definitely.
But it's great, and I think one of the things I just want to focus on Gracie for a second that's been in there for 7 years. She's just started to become a dog. She's just started to get excited about things like eating and going out and
going for a walk.
Right.
Yeah.
And when we got her, we'd pick her up and she'd be frozen.
She was a shell of a dog when we got her.
And she'd lean against you. And now, 4 years, and she's become a dog probably the last year or so. And it helps a lot too. It helps a lot that you've been home a lot because you're their person. They follow you around and
literally
they follow me
around.
They follow you outside. They're upset when you're gone. And I'm going, geez, I feed you guys. What am I, chopped liver here?
I'm the mom.
That's right. But it's good.
Yeah.
And, when we first got them, they'd be out in the backyard and they'd be hiding. We lost we lost the new dogs. Where are they?
They didn't know that we were their people yet, So it took a little while for us all to come together and figure out what it is and get used to the house and our routine. Dogs, no matter what, people say I work too much, I do this too much, I'm not good. Dogs will get used to your life. They will fit in and get used to your rhythm and the rhythm of the house and the heartbeat of the house. They will just figure it out, and they'll just live with you, and as long as you love them and take care of them and you're there for them, they will give you so much love back 10 times, tenfold.
And dogs are sacred, in many different ways and reasons, but are sacred to Native Americans and many people, famous people that are
famous natives are named after dogs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And we have to, and it's great that Ogama just popped up there, Adopt, Don't Shop. That's a whole, maybe that should be the name of your show, really.
Maybe. Well, my t-shirt that I have on right now says, the best breed is the one in need. Wow. And I believe that totally.
Yeah. But we need to be good to our natives out there, and we need to be all our relatives all over Turtle Island, and because Ogama, Ogama, do you have a cat too? I know you have a dog.
Yeah, she's got a cat.
The dog.
Yep, we have a dog and a cat, both of which are rescues. I've never had a puppy or anything like that that came from a mill I've never purchased a dog.
Well, good for you. And we learned the hard way. And as soon as we figured it out and we learned what puppy mills were, we really, advocated for that, and we brought awareness around about, because we figured, you know what, if we didn't know what was happening in these puppy mills, then other people didn't know either. So, adopt, do not shop, and bring awareness.
Look for Wendy's animal show coming up soon. Really excited to produce that too. Hey, I would like to end with these thoughts. If you're listening to this show, you are part of the resistance. From Chief Plentycoops, the ground on which we stand on is sacred ground. It is the blood of our ancestors. We need to resist, divest, join a group, run for office. Want to give a special shout out to Senator Mary Kunesh, Wendy Pilot, and of course Ogama with the news. If you're listening to the show, you are part of the resistance. We're still here. We are the seventh generation. Free Leonard Peltier and stop line 3.
How good are Toyota Siennas from Rudy Luther Toyota? Not only have they been a